The Indie Dawson refuses to be categorized in the podcast. Hey Panda Bears, today I am just going to talk shit with you. This is like an episode of Entrepreneur in car during school run, but more it's like Entrepreneur in car, on the couch, doing nothing. Yeah, it's a dream. I just thought, I don't know, it feels like it's been ages since we've like caught up like this. I don't know. Does it feel that way to you? Whatever. I'm here now. How are you, my loves? I hope life has been gentle and kind to you, and there are new kind of shoots of life kind of blooming forward and sprouting in your life. I feel like I've just been on a different kind of planet for a long stretch now. My eldest kid's been sick with something for the last 3 weeks or so and has been home from school, and she was hospitalized for one night as well, and she's making progress and she's getting better, but then sometimes she has backslides and we're like, oh no. It was suspected appendicitis, and then they thought it was mesenteric adenitis, and then another doctor thinks it's something else, and I don't know if he's right yet, and it's just a plow. I mean, at least it's like nothing serious, if you know what I mean? Like it is all fixable. It's just this process of, I don't know, just making sure that it is the things they think it is and that it is getting better. I don't know. It's intense. It's an intenser part of life. And she has days where she feels really good and normal, and then she's not well again, and it's just really hard. And I, of course, as a mama, you just hate seeing your kids suffer, right? You just would so much rather be sick yourself than them being unwell. And it's kind of also thrown our days out of routine as well, because we were going to bed earlier because we've got an aging dog. She's 15 now. She's up multiple times a night, and my husband's up with her. It's kind of like looking after a newborn. And so he goes to bed much earlier. And usually we would all go to bed at the same time, except with my big kid being ill, she gets worse at nighttime. So I'm usually up with her by myself, and it's hard. It's really fucking hard when she's just feeling so unwell. Last night she was up with me and my husband had already gone to bed, and then she just started vomiting her fucking guts out, and so I had to go and wake him up, and I'm like, we've got a vomiter, and bless him, he just like woke straight up, and he's like, right, okay. And then he had to go plunge the bathtub out because it was not draining from vomit, and it was just fucking horrific. I don't know, it also just made me laugh because, like, bless him, it just woke up at the start to go clean up some vomit. And then, of course, once I'd finally settled the kids in bed, he's up like 4 times a night with the dog, and oh my gosh, it's just a whole lot of life around here, a whole lot of life. And also in the meantime, I injured my toe quite badly about 3 weeks ago, and it's still not healing up. So I've gone to get extra x-rays, and it looks like it's a pretty significant fracture, and there's not a huge amount that can be done for it except make sure there's no other fractures in the foot. But in the meantime, it's just like, fuck, how much life can happen at once? How much life can happen at once? Ah, bless. And then, it is school holidays now, thank goodness, and it's really sweet because my kids are, they just adore each other, and I feel very lucky for that. They are 4 years apart, and they both just like the same things. Neither of them are sporty. They are crafty nerds, and I just love them. I just, obviously, yay. The two creative nerds did not create sporty people. We've just created more people who love to be at home and love to make stuff. And they're just so enjoying being together because Starry's been sick for so long, and they've just been at school as well, and then they get to like experience this whole other world together. They just sort of drift off into their own world for days on end into this game that keeps on going. And they just giggle and they just love each other, and it's just such a blessing. And I don't know how long that will last because my biggest is 11 now. My youngest is 7. Of course, at some point, their tastes may change, and she's going to be a teenager and all that kind of stuff. So I just really feel grateful for right now and for these beautiful days at home together where Star is feeling well enough to be able to play, and they just have these hilarious adventures. Like they spent a solid hour pretending to be twin cats, and then they just kind of wafted off and created a zoo out of all their Beanie Boos for hours on end. And they kind of I don't know what it is. They Starry's kind of like the director of their play, and their play goes for hours, but they're not presenting it to anyone else. It's just one that they do together. I don't even know. They've been doing this for 7 years now, and it's this hilarious way of playing, but it's a play, and I don't know. I just love it. I love it. And it just makes my heart happy just being at home and hearing them so happy and just being together. It's such a blessing, And I will say, of course I'm wildly privileged because there's so many people out there that are like, I'd love to not be at home. I've had quite enough family time, and I'm like, that's completely understandable. I've lived, it's like we're living in a separate world because I'm in Australia. We had a very short, sharp lockdown in the beginning, and then we've kind of returned to life's normal. They've basically eradicated COVID in Australia and kept it that way. There's tiny little bursts that come out, and then they managed to stop it, and I feel very lucky. I hope you can hear Angel, our belligerent 15-year-old, so sweet, so living in her own world. But it's not like it's because she's older. She's just always been this way, and the elderliness is continuing that. Oh my God, one thing that happened really sweetly the other day after Starry had vomited and all of that bonanza, I was putting the kids to bed, and my youngest one said, "Oh, Mum, I'm just so excited for tomorrow." And I was like, "Oh, why's that, love?" And she said, "Because we're going to have the best day ever. Me and Starry, we're planning to have a full craft day. So we're going to wake up, we're going to fill up our bento boxes with food, we're going to make a bottle of sparkling water each because they think that is the fanciest thing since ever. SodaStream." And, oh my gosh, can you hear this dog? Angel, I'm still here, mate. Oh, do I have to walk and get her? Do I have to walk? Oh, okay, just a sec. No, back again. Here's the thing, right, with having a dog that's pretty much deaf now and mostly blind, is she can still make so much noise, and when you try and get her to stop, she doesn't recognise that. She's like, I don't hear you. I not really see you. Bless her socks. Also, I'm just going to peep and poo wherever I like now because my whole world is going to be the place where I peep and poos. Okay, so, like I was saying, it's just a whole lot of life happening around here. Okay, so Beth was like, "So we're going to have the best day We're going to get bento boxes of food. We're going to like soda water. And then we've just got so many craft projects to do. But we'll have our bento boxes and our water. So we won't have to leave the table. We're just going to craft all day. And I am just so excited. She was so cute. Oh my God. She is just, I think, just so much like me in so many ways. Like, she's just so irrepressibly excited about everything. And I mean, she's 7, which is such an excitable age anyway. And that's exactly what they did. They just had a great day of crafting with their bento boxes and their soda stream bottles beside them. And then it was kind of interspersed with little moments on like where they go and play on the trampoline. And yeah, it was beautiful. They're so cute. They're so sweet. Oh my gosh, I just finished reading an amazing book about, let me get so I can read the exact title. It was a travel graphic novel, a graphic travelogue. That's probably the best way of doing it. It's called Manabeshima Island, Japan, by Florent Chavot, who's the author of Tokyo on Foot. And it is the most beautifully, delicately illustrated travelogue of spending 2 months on a small island in Japan. Manabeshima Island, Japan. And holy crap, it was amazing. It's by Tuttle Publishing, which does a lot of kind of books on various countries throughout Asia. And they do a lot of kind of graphic travelogues, and they're just beautiful. But Florent Chavot's book is, I would say, the best graphic travelogue I've ever seen. Holy smokes. In terms of, I mean, his illustrations are off the hook. And the holy smokes, this is just the episode of being interrupted. Anyway, that was my beautiful husband. He's up the street with my kids, and I'm having some alone time, and I love that. But he just wanted to check if I wanted any snacks on the way home. God bless the man who knows that I need snacks. Anyway, that was an amazing travelogue, and I'm really excited to get his book Tokyo on Foot too, because his book, amazing. I did try and do something new this week as well. If you get my daily blog post, if you're on my daily newsletter, so it's leonie.com/daily. It's daily-ish. It's not every day, but quite a few days. I shared my Mon-do list, like my Monday to-do list for the week ahead. And I thought I would test it out and see if it worked for me. And I have now deleted that, because what I discovered, is, so for me, I am somebody who is an obliger, which means that I really deal well with having some kind of accountability outside of myself in terms of somebody else, or it's also why I like to blog about my goals and stuff, is because it gives me that kind of accountability. And I'm kind of like a productivity show pony. I will fucking turn it on as soon as somebody else is watching. You know what I mean? And so I use that tool to increase my productivity quite a lot. However, I need to make sure that I monitor that, because there's sometimes when I go overboard, and that can lead to burnout, and it also can just lead to this kind of internal malaise within me, where I feel like I'm not doing anything for myself. I'm doing it for everybody else, and I have to do it A+ effort, otherwise and so my enjoyment factor goes down. So I thought I would try out sharing my daily my weekly to-do list, and then really quickly realize oh no, that's not going to do super well for my mental health. Because I'm actually doing really well with productivity at the moment. I am using kind of a bullet journal approach. I've got it in my journal. Me and my journal, it's my safe place. I'm getting so much done already. And I thought I would try out doing extra accountability outside of that. Turns out I don't need it, and it turns out it kind of makes me feel a bit fucked up. And also I didn't like when like my to-do list is like the major to-do list is kind of like now sitting on a blog post. And so when I was ticking something off, I'd have to like go into the computer to like tick it off and then feel like that level of completion, because you get so easily distracted on the computer, right? Whereas if I'm just ticking something off in my journal, I'm not going to get distracted. So tried the Monday to-do list, didn't like it, deleted it. And I'm just going to keep on with my just bullet journal approach. What else am I working on at the moment? My big thing is we just released Marketing Without Social Media workshop, which starts in like 8 more days. And it's already the biggest selling course I've ever created. In terms of I've sold more enrollments in other courses that have been out for 2 years now, but in like terms of like the short period that it's been out, it is outselling what the other ones have sold in their beginning days. So I'm interested by that. It seems like a lot of people are kind of getting fucking sick of social media marketing, and also seeing like the amount of risk that's involved in social media, because it can just be taken off you in an instant, and it doesn't necessarily get you great results, and there's probably better things that you can be doing with your time. So most of my business like stuff is centered, my work is centered around marketing without social media and getting that ready for all the students to go through and marketing it and all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested, leoniedawson.com/marketing. That should be a pretty powerful course. I'm really thrilled with how it's shaping out, and I love that so many other people, it's like resonating with so many people so much as well. Okay. I've done a few blog posts. I've done a few podcast interviews with other podcasts lately, like the Rooted Reinvention podcast. And I was also in the Summit for Limiting Beliefs, and I was in the Ultimate Writer's Toolkit as well. And I was on the Art Medicine Voyage Telesummit as well. Was there anything else? I can't remember. Anyway, leoniedawson.com/blog, and you'll be able to find all of those goodies. Yes, I'm happy to be interviewed on other podcasts, and if you've got a podcast, feel free to support at leoniedawson.com, and love to be a guest. My only requirements is that you already have a podcast that has already had over, I think, 100 downloads, 1,000 downloads. I can't remember. I know I've written it down somewhere. And also, I want to make sure that any podcast I am on have a real commitment to intersectional feminism, and working on, aware of and working on, racial justice issues, social justice issues. They have an understanding of cultural appropriation, and they don't engage in those things. They are, actively supportive of LGBTQIA plus communities, that kind of stuff. I'm not saying you need to be the world's #1 ally. What I'm saying is that you need to be at least fucking aware of it. So, for example, a couple of requests we've denied is a straight white man asked to interview me, and I didn't say no because he was a straight white man. I said no because when I asked whether it was an intersectional podcast, his reply was no, we don't do politics. And that to me is no, that's a no-go zone. Because what you're saying, what that means is I'm actually completely choosing to ignore other people's suffering and not using my privilege and my platform for good. So that was a no. Also, when people say, oh, yeah, I'm like the least racist person on earth, and I just don't see colour, those are like red flags for me, because that means that you haven't, like, you're doing no self-education about racial justice issues. Yeah, and of course, like, and I've talked about this before, but people who are engaging in cultural appropriation, who use the word GYPSY in, as part of their business name or whatever, that's also a no-go zone. If you're not aware, but GYPSY is a racial slur, and it's really inappropriate, and I get that white women have appropriated it to mean, somebody who likes to be a free spirit or travel. No, that's like, have a little reads up on why the word GYPSY is so problematic, because we're talking about that's a racial slur used against people who are stateless, and who have been vilified and discriminated against for centuries. So not cute. Now, if we're talking about people, that specific people, then their name is the Romani people, and GYPSY, interestingly enough, is the name that other people used for them because they thought they were from Egypt, and so, like, that word is kind of like a slur against, people who they thought were from Egypt, who are not from Egypt whatsoever. They're stateless, and have been discriminated against. So anyway, there's my little rant for today. Here's the thing, right, is like, of course we didn't grow up knowing about any of this because we grew up in really racist times and we're still in racist times, and our awareness of, my dog keeps wanting to go out. I love her. I just don't want her to poop on the floor. Please don't poop on the floor. Okay, are you going out, mate? You can do this. It's kind of like we need to update our understanding and wisdom of the world. Not wisdom, our understanding of what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. And that is going to change from the time that you're a child. So just because, that's what you learned when you were a child doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's right. There's a lot of things that we were taught as a child that were really incorrect, and we just need to update our knowledge and understanding of it. Otherwise, we end up turning into, racist old people who didn't actively seek out, the updated training of what's actually appropriate. And if you say, oh, but that word to me doesn't mean blah, 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 no, that's not how it works. You're not the discriminated against person here, dude. Like, let's listen to the people who have been discriminated against. Okay. And I want you to know, guys, I have fucked up so many times on this stuff, and I'm not like a fucking, one, I'm not a teacher about it, and two, the people who are teachers, we should be listening to Black, Indigenous and people of colour. They're the real teachers. And secondly, I have made mistakes completely along this whole path of re-educating myself and recognizing that I am a racist person because I live in a racist society. I am a homophobic person because I live in a homophobic society. And so, I am fat phobic because I live in a fat phobic society. And it's we have to kind of pull out these kinds of weeds of thoughts inside us and confront those parts of ourselves. It's sort of I have to recognize that even though I have autism, there are parts of me that that have been affected by, kind of anti-autism languaging and prejudice. I have to see the parts of myself that are ableist, because I live in an ableist society. And it's just kind of like this unwinding and this kind of consciousness bringing that's so vital and so important. Okay, what else? Oh, I did like some drawings of books that I got obsessed with lately. So leoniedawson.com/blog, you can see those. I read one specifically as well. It's called This Woman's Work by Julie Delport. And oh my gosh, amazingly drawn, holy scrumptious. And then Florence Given wrote Women Don't Owe You Pretty, fucking awesome as well. Highly recommend that one. I've been really obsessed with interior design stuff lately. I finally feel like I get how it works, like the layering. And so the layering of like paint and texture and pillows and accessories and all that kind of stuff. And so I've been doing like a lot of home projects at home, which has been really fucking thrilling. And I did like a big blog post about that and shared the links to a whole bunch of blogs, that interior design blogs that I've been really loving as well. If you want to see the before and afters of projects that I've been working on, over on the blog, babes, over on the blog. And I think that's it. Maybe. Yeah, I reckon I'll go with that. I just want you to know I'm here. I love you. Oh, I've got a new scrapbook post out, which is like, 43 things that I found on the internet, which were fucking amazing. So I'm not going to read it out because it just links to stuff. Awesome.com/blog. I've been making lots of stuff. It's just all on the blog. Make sure you go to leoniedawson.com/daily in order to grab, like all the things that I've been creating, just go straight to your inbox. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I love ya. I think you're awesome. Oh, Marketing Without Social Media starts in like a week. So if you're keen on that, you should dive in now. All right. Okay, that's all. Bye.